It's not a job with much glamour to it. You're by yourself a lot, and sometimes you get to wondering. You wonder if anyone really cares. You look at it as, well, I've got to come over here tonight and clean up after all these students. No one really notices whether it's clean or not, because tomorrow it's going to get dirty again. But you can also take the viewpoint that the students and faculty are here for a purpose. And the reason that you're here is because they're here. And so you try to do a good job, because you know it helps them do theirs better.
Seems as though some people think that janitoring is just something that you can go out on the street and pick up a man and you can do it. But it isn't. Just everybody can't janitor. Now we get men that are good men in their line, but they just can't janitor. It's getting, I shouldn't say complicated, but it's getting more of a particular job now than it ever has.
When you say janitoring, you think of a man who just comes in, sweeps the floor, and empties the waste baskets. But there's a lot more to just janitor work than that. You have to get along with men is a prime requisite. And then you have to be able to see what has to be done.
The word janitor has been given a connotation which is very undesirable. If you go and ask John Doe on the street who has no connection with the field, give me a thumbnail description of a janitor. He'll give you the type that you see in the cartoons and maybe on television depictions or in the movies or something. Well, it's usually some old guy that's got his hat to the side, hasn't got enough brains to come up out of the cellar, and is wearing bib overalls and sloppy pants. I suppose in some areas this is quite true. Here, I've always felt that this type of person couldn't do the work the university expects.
There's a lot more to janitoring than a person thinks. To me, it's more or less an art. I have my surprise and a studio, so to speak. And to do a really top-notch piece of work, you've got to do more than just dust and sweep. You've got to really color it clean.
Is really one of the main jobs, as far as I'm concerned. I've always been touchy on keeping restrooms clean, because anything that's any more aggravating to me is to walk into a restroom that is filthy and has an odor. I try to keep mine so that you don't run into any circumstances like that.
That's right. Now, many of the restrooms on campus are pretty old, and they require an extra bit of work to get them clean and odor-free. But we don't use deodorants in our bathrooms, and it's not necessary, really. We find that if a room is kept clean and well ventilated, it's not going to have an odor problem. And this is something that we all work pretty hard on. And we find that it's a problem that we have solved pretty well, and we're kind of proud of it.
not a hard job physically. It's a job that you don't get right out of the wall. You're on the move, continuing for 8 hours, but you don't just get out and move right out. And if you don't watch yourself, why, you more or less get what I call a janitor drag. You really slow yourself down. And when you're off the job, I find it myself moving a lot slower than I should. And I fight that all the time.
It takes a certain temperament of Christians to do that. Now, a lot of men wouldn't fit in as janitor. But and I think that is one reason. Another reason why the janitors want to help each other, because they have that feeling of pride in their own work, and they want to help the other man. Because if the man upstairs does a good job, and I do a good job, the building looks better. So if I can help him out, or if there's an extra man comes in and we don't want no complaints on the building, I'll go up there and see that he knows the job, so that we can keep, because we want this building to look nice.
Each man is an individual, and he's going to do the work his way, and the goal is to get the job, the work accomplished in the 8 hours with the tools that are available, and it doesn't matter how the man does the work. So you train each of these new men with that in mind. You show them the way you do it, and the second trainer is going to show them why he does it, and we both explain, this is a way to clean the restroom, the classroom, the office, to clean a desk and wax it. But to say this is the way you have to do it, it's two different things.
We really have done a lot of work on this program, and I think that we have it down now to where anyone can come in here as a new man and feel at home and do the job if he's inclined to. If a man comes in here and is willing, and he asks questions, and good questions, why then you can do something with him through conversation. But if he comes in and don't ask any questions, and when you try to explain something to him and he won't answer you, or he's looking off at the picture on the wall, or looking at something that he might not be used to, why then I just came to figure that they're not going to make it.
Well, I like the job, and the men are wonderful to get along with, and I like to see these boys enthusiastic about their work, and I just really enjoy working with these boys, and it's surprising how much better they do than I did when I started. I guess it might have been because I was older and wasn't used to any of that sort of work. But I had step on the mop, and I just missed wastebaskets, and it just came hard, I think, for the first 4 months. But with the help of these foremen and the other men, you'd be surprised the cooperation you get from the men around here.
So we try to make him feel at home. That's one of the first things. You take a man who comes in off the farm, for instance, Now he's never been around. He's actually nervous. He's actually scared. A building of this size scares him. And so it's a day-by-day procedure. The first day, I like to have him I try to acquaint him with the tools that we use, and then have him watch me. If I see that a man's getting nervous, well then I hand him the duster, and let him try the duster. There's about 1,000 things to remember, little things that most people don't realize. And so if you take them day by day, and they take an interest, you can get some good out of trying to train them.
If a person will really work at the job, he doesn't have to worry about it, but he has to be interested in it. And there's a lot of satisfaction to get when the foreman come in and say, "Man, that floor really looks nice," where there had been scuff marks and all, and you take them out, which isn't necessary as far as the job goes, but it does give you a lot of feeling of satisfaction to think that they notice. And these men are trained to do that. And whether you know they notice it or not, a lot of times they might not say anything, but you know they know the job stuff. All the new men swing. And that means that when a man's off sick, they take his place. And so you'd be surprised at these boys when they go into these buildings. And now that's one of the biggest worries of these trainings is, well, now how am I going to find a building? And how am I going to find a janitor room? And how am I going to find what I've got to do?
And we have an assignment sheet that's made up. And it's mainly for new men. When they go in the swing shift and go from building to building, why, they can pick this assignment sheet up, which is either on the bulletin board or it's hanging in every janitor room. And when they get that, it tells them where they can get their tools, and whatever room, it has the room numbers, and it tells you whether or not it's a classroom or what it might be. But we also have the time element there. And say that you yourself would start in here and it'd come 9 o'clock and you would wonder, well, where am I at? Am I halfway through? Am I a third of the way through? All you have to do is refer to your assignment sheet and you know where you're at. Now, we don't try to follow it to the minute or even to 5 minutes. But if you're 20 minutes before or ahead or 20 minutes behind, why, you're going to get over your assignment.
Two men who have been trained by the same men won't do the job the same. They're encouraged not to, really. Initiative is encouraged where feasible. If a man goes into an area and the way he has been taught is not practical or may not be the most efficient manner, he's encouraged to evolve a manner which is more efficient and more appropriate.
Our assignments are so vague that it takes a manager as well as a workman to get over. And that's something that one of the first things that a janitor should understand when he comes here is that he has to get over his assignment. and still make it look presentable. And some of them just don't have the management ability to do the job. Some of them work well under supervision, but when they go out on assignment, they're more or less on their honor, and they're not used to it, and they fall along the wayside. It really takes a management to make a top janitor.
The foreman's job depends on the men as well as the men's job depends on the foreman. So it's like the vice president and the general manager. They have to work together as far as getting the job done, and they seem to do a good job.
Janitoring is something that I tell these fellows that you got to kind of have a feminine touch to do good work, and then you have to like to see things clean. You can't be dirty at home and then come up here and do a first-class job. Cleaning restrooms is something that you can look back and see what you've done if you do it properly. Your porcelain shines and your chrome shines, and a person that takes an interest can be proud of his work.
As far as the job goes, there isn't a better job in the world where a man can do as much as he wants and do it his way, and every man has that feeling that he knows best. And if he's doing it himself, he knows best, and they cooperate 100%.
You have a lot of responsibility here. You're given a job and told, here, this is your place. Clean it up and keep it nice. And that's all they say. No one's looking over your shoulder all the time. You're your own boss, and it gives you a good feeling, a feeling of pride to do a good job. You're on your own.